Hello, welcome to Moonlit Justice Oracle. I'm here to do a collective reading for Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine counterparts. Either or, both, all, any, some. Yeah, I fell down a rabbit hole this morning, several. All the information I have on this subject is completely subjective to my own experience and my own thoughts, my own feelings. I've never really looked into it to educate myself at all, so I ended up coming across a concept comparing the divine counterpart situation, comparing it to a river and a riverbank. I don't know where this concept originated from, but I ended up feeling drawn to it, and I went with it. So I made some notes. I'm just going to kind of summarize what I learned from this, and then we're going to do a reading as well. Looking into this, it'll be a lot more metaphorical than, I don't know, we'll see. The river and the riverbank. Now, also, to me, the river is the river, all the water, the riverbank, the riverbed, everything as a whole is the river. This concept suggests that the river is the feminine energy, and the riverbank is the masculine. I changed it up for what feels right to me, and to me, the feminine energy is the river water, and the masculine energy is the riverbank and the riverbed. Combined together, they are the river. They create that river together. So, the river water for divine feminine, that represents intuition, emotions, flow, feelings, receptivity, allowing, flexibility, patience, being adaptive. With the riverbank, travels with force and momentum. The water, the feminine energy, travels with force and momentum, safety to flow freely and deeply, while creating and expressing. So, the river water, feminine energy, when combined and balanced with the masculine energy, riverbank, riverbed, etc., the feminine energy, the water, is able to travel with force and momentum. It has the safety to flow freely and deeply while creating and expressing. Without the riverbank, and this could be within, of course, right? It's like when we're talking about feminine and masculine energies, we all have them within us, but they can also be found in our divine counterparts. So if there's an imbalance in the masculine energy, or there's something going on where the masculine energy is not contributing to this river in a beneficial way, etc., right? Without the riverbank, the water is directionless, a motionless puddle. I laughed my ass off when I read that. A motionless puddle, chaos, destructive flooding. Okay, so the riverbank, the divine masculine energy, represents structure, boundaries, protection, stillness, safety, and direction. Masculine energy as a whole, logic, practicality, critical thinking, discipline. With the river, so when this divine masculine energy, as the riverbank / riverbed, when there's, what am I trying to say? In addition to having that masculine riverbank energy, when there's also balanced feminine energy involved, the water, the river water, is flowing inside this river bank on top of the riverbed, right? So with the river, a softness that allows for healthy growth and creation, more open to receiving, self-confident and trusting in one's strength and abilities when it comes to what they have to offer and what they can create. Without the river, without that divine feminine energy, with an imbalance in the feminine energy, the riverbank can be dry and barren, rigid, harsh, and inflexible, unable to adapt to changes, not seeing one's full potential and or value. Together, when combined, the balance within both each, the divine feminine and masculine, determines how much we can thrive, how much they can thrive as individuals and as a team. Emotionally grounded without being closed off. Confident without needing to dominate. Intuitive without feeling lost. Focused without being rigid. Open-hearted while still protecting inner peace. Able to give and receive in healthy ways. Healthy reciprocity. Natural flow between support and independence. Yeah, so that pretty much sums up the concept from what I gathered. I think it's interesting. I'm drawn to it. So, I found that when I fall into rabbit holes, I'm usually being guided to fall down those rabbit holes, and I've learned to just go with it, probably for a reason. It's not a waste of time, usually. Alright, so I made a spread to, I don't know, look into this. Lean into the river, water, riverbank energy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everything you do in support of this channel. I appreciate you. Alright, divine feminine, divine masculine energy. Oh, this is the cat. My sweet little gato. My bicolor blessing. She created chaos before I started recording this message, and hopefully that she doesn't repeat that. But if she does, it's fine. Everything's gonna be just fine. Alright. May I have one card representing the divine feminine's river water energy regarding this river with the divine masculine? Divine feminine's river water energy. High Priestess. Powerful psychic insights, reflection, and meditation that provides valuable information. Be at peace. That's so wild. If you look, I hope you can see this. In this card, we've got the High Priestess, right? They've got water coming out from under them, and on each side looks like a river. Looks like the riverbank. Wow. So the divine feminine river water energy right now, they're following their intuition, they're being led, they're reflecting and meditating, and this is providing valuable information. They're finding themselves at peace regarding this river water energy, embodying this river water energy. Divine masculine, riverbank, riverbed energy. We have a card representing the divine masculine's current riverbank, riverbed energy. Unknown territory. You are exactly where you need to be. So divine masculine's like, I guess I'm a riverbank. Here I am, being a riverbank. I don't know what's going on. I've never been here before. I've never been a riverbank. Divine masculine needs to know that they're exactly where they need to be. Even if it feels unknown, unfamiliar. Even if they feel a bit lost, out of their element. Oh yeah, that's reminding me. So, sorry, another ramble. I'll probably make this 20 times the original speed for efficiency or whatever. So while I was creating all these notes, researching and all of that, I kept hearing the song. It's by Groove Armada, and it's called At the River. And I was like, okay, it's called At the River. I'm aware of this song. I've listened to it probably thousands of times in my lifetime at this point. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's something in that song. Maybe there's something in that song. And this led me down another rabbit hole. I'm going to go into the full extent at the end of this video. So if you're interested, I'll sum it up. So in the song, the lyrics just repeat themselves. There's not much in the lyrics. All the lyrics that can be found in this song are, if you're fond of sand dunes and salty air, quaint little villages here and there. That just repeats over and over. So I'm like, okay, let me investigate this further. And I realized I'd never watched their official music video. So I did that, and it was really interesting. It was basically, well, no, I'll save this for the end of the video ramble, but where was I going with this? There might be a message regarding this in my description of the music video, and where that ultimately led me, because it ultimately led me to hymns, which I don't know anything about. I had to research a lot of things involving hymns, Bible verses, etc. But we'll talk about it at the end. It might be relevant and helpful. All right, what's next? How the combined energies affect the river. How are our current energies affecting this river we share? How are the divine feminine's and divine masculine's energies affecting this river? How are their combined energies affecting this river right now? Surrendering to the journey, release control. it's more of we're allowing ourselves to release control on this journey. We've surrendered to the journey. By not trying to control this river, we're allowing it to flow as it wishes. We're allowing the river bend to what? To feel the water? Because I'm trying to put myself in the place of a river bend, experiencing a river, the water. The river bend is affected by the water. Releasing control and allowing things to be as they are, as they're supposed to be, surrendering to the journey, right? Let me put this away for now. It's in my way. Kitty cat. You're a calm, docile cat. Yes. Alright. We have one card representing what the Divine Feminine is doing whilst in this river water energy. What is the Divine Feminine currently? Wise leader. You are a beacon for others. Soul expansion. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connection between all things. The connections between all things. Your beacon. So the High Priestess, Divine Feminine energy, might be leading the way in this situation right now. Because we do see the water is flowing from her. The water is flowing from her. Divine Masculine energy is like, what is happening here? All of a sudden I'm a riverbed, a riverbank, and there's water. But both energies are surrendering to the journey, releasing control, allowing. We have one card representing what the Divine Feminine energy is doing in this river water energy. What is this Divine Feminine energy currently doing in this river water energy? Distant thunder, clear the air. I'm getting like filtration. Filtering the water, learning how to filter the water, or understanding. Reflection and meditation that provides valuable information. Maybe this Divine Feminine High Priestess energy is understanding what needs to be filtered out in order to help create this river. A thriving, beneficial river. Clear the air. I'm getting like a murky water being filtered into clear, crystal clear water. Begin now. Take your first step. Maybe that's the beginning of this process. I don't know if this Divine Feminine recently has gained this information. Be at peace. Learning the importance about being in a peaceful energy. Peaceful waters, not chaotic, not unmanageable wild waters, right? Alright, for the Divine Masculine, unknown territory. We have a card representing what the Divine Masculine is currently doing in this riverbank, riverbed energy. What is the Divine Masculine currently doing in this riverbed? Wandering path, enjoy the journey. In this card, is that a fox? This fox has a map. This fox has a map and a compass. Enjoy the journey. Wandering path. Yeah, with unknown territory as the Divine Masculine's current energy, they might find themselves they might be finding themselves in an unfamiliar place with unfamiliar circumstances. They're not sure what to do. They've surrendered to the journey. They're releasing control, so it's kind of like they're just focusing on the positives, focusing on enjoying this journey whilst traversing this path, this unknown path, or understanding that this path, regardless of being in unknown, unfamiliar territory, they know that this is part of the path and they're enjoying it. And they're acting in ways because of that. Because the question is, what are they doing, right? Enjoying the journey. Yeah, I'm almost getting like the Divine Feminine right now is acting as a water filtration system for the water that she is producing, the water that she is as the river water, right? And the divine masculine is kind of like, I can imagine them being on the riverbank, being the riverbank. And all of a sudden, I don't know, have they already observed or experienced or felt that the water was murky in some way, and now they're, I don't know if they're realizing that there's this filtration happening, or this filtration is helping them enjoy the journey. I imagine it wouldn't be a good feeling if they're a riverbed and there's like murky water. It's like, what? If water's murky, it's not clear, lacking clarity, or vast vistas expand your horizons. Because the point of the water, right? If water helps grow life, it helps nurture soil, it helps, it creates life. How is what both the divine feminine and divine masculine energy, how is what they're currently doing affecting this river? How is what they're currently doing affecting this river? Discovering truth, you stand in the light of truth. Transformation, a fresh new way of living emerges. So it's helping the counterparts discover truth. It's helping the counterparts stand in the light of truth. It's leading to a transformation. It's contributing to a transformation. A fresh new way of living emerges. Yeah, if water's being filtered, that's fresh. Super fresh. May I have one card, please, for what both the divine feminine and divine masculine, what they're doing is affecting this river right now? One card, please, for what they're doing is affecting this river. Mystic healer, healing energy flows through you. Wow. Yeah, it's like something about what this divine feminine is doing, the current energy they're in, what they're doing. It's healing. It's filtering and healing. It's healing. Oh no. It's healing the river. The river. It's like the river's been sick. The river's been sick, or the river has been, I don't know. That's a lot. Alright. What can the divine feminine energy do to continue helping this river? What can the divine feminine energy, as the river water, do to continue helping this river thrive? What can the divine feminine do to continue helping this river? Joy and delight. Open your heart to joy. Open your heart. Healing energy flows through you. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of like healing on this divine feminine side. There's a lot of healing happening, a lot of purification, and what they can do to help continue, what they can do to help this river continue to thrive is they can open their heart to joy. Allow joy and delight. It's interesting because in these images, right? We have the high priestess, and there seems to be like a grown person here, an adult. Definitely an adult with wings, right? And then in this one, the joy and delight, it's a more youthful person, like a child with the wings and everything. It's like returning to innocence in a way. With the purification, right? Returning to a more innocent energy, to a more pure energy. What can the divine masculine do to continue helping this river? What can the divine masculine do to continue to help this river? Paul the Venetian, experiencing grace, share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. Experiencing grace. Share your gifts with grace. So perhaps the Divine Masculine has something to share. I know we mentioned that in the Divine Masculine reading that was just made. There was something about having information or wisdom to share, right? Perhaps this is still the Divine Masculine energy as the riverbank. It would be beneficial for this river if the Divine Masculine shared their gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. Maybe they'll experience the waves of inspiration and love. They'll feel it. They'll understand it, and maybe this will help them when it comes to sharing their gift in some way. It will help inspire them, perhaps. Yeah, if they're in a place of feeling like they're in unknown, unfamiliar territory, right? They're kind of just exploring. They're more of figuring out what's going on in their surroundings, understanding their surroundings, right? Maybe in this energy, it's not, like if they're getting to know an environment, let's say, and we're talking completely metaphorically, or this could be literally. If they're getting to know their environment in some way, they might not be feeling inspired to like share their gifts in some way, or maybe they're keeping more to themselves, and that's important. They're registering information. They're all right. How will these combined efforts by the Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine, how will this help contribute to the health of this river? How will them doing this contribute to the health of this river? How will them doing this help the river? Too many. How will this help the river? Grace and gratitude. Through gratitude, joy expands. Share your gifts with grace. I remember back in the day, I was doing one of the chill readings, and there was something about the word grace, or the name grace. Like it kept, like, it was just grace everywhere. So much grace. And grace and gratitude. Through gratitude, joy expands. Joy and delight. So by continuing to help this river, by the Divine Feminine opening their heart to joy, from experiencing joy and delight, and the Divine Masculine experiencing grace, sharing their gifts with grace, by allowing these waves of inspiration and love to come to them, by feeling that, this will help the river gratitude. Maybe the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine will feel gratitude in some way, and feeling that gratitude and acting with gratitude, thinking with gratitude, that will help this river. So the Divine Masculine as the river bank and river bed, right? I wish there was one word to describe that. That's fine. Riverbank and riverbed. They're ultimately, just as the Divine Feminine is responsible for creating the water, designing the water, choosing what kind of water to be as the river, right? The Divine Masculine gets to choose what kind of riverbank, riverbed they want to be. It's like they're designing it with unknown territory and wandering path. Like I'm seeing this fox with the map and compass as like architectural plans, like that kind of situation, where it's like they actively get to design what this river will look like, right? The river bank, the river bed shapes the water. It's the path in which this water flows, right? So this Divine Masculine is the one who is ultimately designing the shape, the path of this river. The Divine Feminine is creating, influencing what flows in this river, right? Huh. What do we got here? Prayer and contemplation. Connect with heaven. Ask and you shall receive. Okay. Oh, sleepy cat. Sleepy cat. There we go. Do it like that so that I can see a little better. Yes, just like so. Alright, I'm going to do it basically the same as the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine separate readings. I've got new small cards. Well, they're not new. I got different, as opposed to these ones from before. These ones are also interesting. Devotion. Look at upcoming efforts through the eyes of your soul. Take up the task as if all your heart depended on it. Apply yourself to a sacred passion with consistent presence. Anyway, there's these little cards, and they have words, messages on them. I chose them because the other ones, they're very practical. They're more about, like, to me, it's more about the worldly experience. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be a little more, I think, metaphorical here. So I chose these because there's more room for interpretation in the way I perceive these cards. Okay, here we go. Quick shuffle. The river, huh? Alright, Divine Feminine, if you were a river right now, what would you look like? What would your river look like? How would it feel? What do the waters look like? Divine Masculine, river bed, river bank. What would you look like? How would you feel? Alright, why is the High Priestess here for Divine Feminine's river water energy? High Priestess as Divine Feminine's current river water energy. The High Priestess. Please help us better understand this message. High Priestess, Divine Feminine's river water energy. Ayahuasca, opening to a profound spiritual experience. Vision, dream, journey. Ayahuasca. Opening to a profound spiritual experience. Vision, dream, journey. Wow. So, this Divine Feminine High Priestess energy is currently experiencing some kind of profound spiritual experience. Maybe they had a vision, a dream, journey. This is part of the journey. This Divine Feminine is being guided intuitively, spiritually, through reflection, meditation. It's provided valuable information, and this is opening them up to a profound spiritual experience. What it feels like to be the river water, what it feels like to have the responsibility to create and maintain that river water. Distant thunder. How am I going to do this? What am I going to do here? Yeah, let's just go down the line here. Distant thunder, clear the air for what Divine Feminine is currently doing in this river water energy. Distant thunder, clear the air for what the Divine Feminine is currently doing. Expression. Speak up and share your passion with the world. Spotlight, fame, perform. So in some way, this Divine Feminine is clearing the air by expressing themselves, speaking up, sharing their passion with the world. Spotlight, fame, perform. Vision. Perhaps clearing the air, maybe it's not about speaking up and sharing. Perhaps it's about spotlight. Oh no. I was going to say, maybe it's more about having a spotlight on this vision, dream, journey. Having a spotlight on whatever insight they've gained, whatever information they've found or have been provided that's valuable. Be at peace. Interesting expression. Speak up and share your passion with the world. Clear the air. Yeah, maybe they're currently doing something to clear the air, and it involves speaking up, sharing their passion with the world. Joy and delight. Open your heart to joy for what Divine Feminine can do in this river water energy to help this river continue to thrive. Joy and delight. Open your heart to joy for what Divine Feminine can do. Way of life. Stand for what you want. Accept what you have. Truth, vision, strength. Way of life. Making joy and delight part of their way of life. Their truth. Opening their heart to joy. Maybe they've gained some kind of clarity or truth. And this is helping them open themselves up to joy. From what I gathered from their reading, there was a period of like lackluster. Let's just keep it simple. There was a period of feeling lackluster or feeling blocked in a way or not seeing a way. Something's happened and they see clearly. They're seeing clearly in some way. And they're clearing the air because of this. As the river water, maybe they've just kind of realized what kind of water they've been bringing to this connection, to this river. What kind of water, what that water looked like. How it would affect the riverbank, how it would affect the divine masculine and the connection as a whole. And maybe they're clearing the air because of that. They're purifying because of that. Stand for what you want. Accept what you have. Joy and delight. Accept what you have. Accepting things as they are and feeling joy and delight because of that. Unknown territory for divine masculine's current riverbank energy. Unknown territory. You are exactly where you need to be for divine masculine's current energy. Authentic. Your greatest power is being your true self. Real, honest, genuine. Maybe this divine masculine is maybe experiencing being their authentic, true selves for maybe the first time. If something's unknown, right? If this is unknown territory, it's something that someone hasn't experienced before, or maybe it's something they haven't experienced in a very long time. I mean, I assume, I don't remember the specific moment in my life, but I assume that when we're born, right out the gate, we're our authentic selves. You know what I mean? Like, we don't come out wearing masks. We don't come out pretending to be something we're not. You know, those are learned behaviors. So I can't say for the first time, maybe this divine masculine is able, feeling safe enough, feeling confident enough to be their true authentic self. Your greatest power is being your true self, real, honest, genuine. Maybe by learning how to confidently be one's authentic self, they found themselves in unknown territory. Real, honest, genuine. Alright, wandering paths for what this divine masculine is doing that's helping this river. Wandering paths for what this divine masculine is doing. Communicate. Speak your truth clearly and stay in touch. Message, contact, news. Oh, we got a wolf again. Ow! Every time I see a wolf. I recently worked for a company for total 17 years. And I worked in a back room, and I could pretty much say and do anything I wanted for the most part when it comes to, like, self-expression. There weren't customers around. There was no, I had to be appropriate for the most part. Work appropriate. But we used to howl for fun. So now whenever I see a wolf, I have to howl. Okay, anyways, moving on. Communicate. Speak your truth clearly and stay in touch. Wandering path. Enjoy the journey. So they're on this path. They're enjoying the journey. Maybe they're communicating in an authentic way. They're communicating about who they are authentically. They're having honest communication. Or they're receiving honest communication. Or, yeah, something about that. Weren't we talking about that in the Divine Masculine reading? Having something to communicate? Yeah, because there was the take action with passion, I believe the card was, and there was something about taking that action to communicate something. My voice from the howl had to change back to my human self. Alright, Paul the Venetian, experiencing grace. Share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you for what this divine masculine can do to help continue. Hold on, I'm having a hard time saying those words. Experiencing grace for what the divine masculine to do that will help the river. Experiencing grace for what the divine masculine can do that will continue to help the river. Experiencing grace. Warrior, you must stand up for what you believe. Interesting, so both divine feminine and divine masculine stand for what you want. You must stand up for what you believe. It's crucial. The river needs it. You must stand up for what you believe. I think this has to do with like communicating honestly or being genuine when it comes to some kind of communicating. Wandering path, unknown territory. Warrior, you must stand up for what you believe. Divine feminine, stand for what you want. With grace and with joy. Joy and grace. Share your gifts, warrior. You must stand up for what you believe. This might involve sharing the divine masculine's gifts. Sharing their gifts and standing up for what they believe in is one and the same, maybe. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. Maybe they're going to be feeling or experiencing or understanding some kind of waves of inspiration and love coming towards them. And this will help assist them in standing up for what they believe. And in turn, it will help assist the health of this river. Okay, now let's look at the river. The river. Surrendering to the journey, release control. Why is surrendering to the journey, release control here for the river? Release control. Yes, this is how the combined energies of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, how those combined energies are affecting the river. Release control. Pinnacle, you are approaching your limit and close to the end. Peak, maximum, done. So something's almost over. Something's close to the end. Approaching the limit. Release control. Unknown territory. Yeah, both of these energies, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, both of them seem to be energies that aren't trying to control, right? If the divine masculine found themselves in unknown territory, and they're staying in that unknown territory, understanding that it's exactly where they need to be, even if it might feel uncomfortable in some way, that's releasing control. Being in high priestess, receptive energy, right? Receptive energy. Following one's intuition. All of that is releasing control. You are approaching your limit and close to the end. Peak, maximum, done, huh? I'm going to clarify this one. Why is Pinnacle here with release control for how what they're doing is affecting the river? Oh, I just realized. So sometimes water in rivers is a result of glaciers melting, right? From melting ice. And I noticed there's like this icy mountain, snow. So maybe there's some kind of, I don't know, some kind of, what's melting in this situation? What was cold, what was frozen, is now melting and contributing to this river. Release control. Because both parties, both the divine feminine, divine masculine energies, because they decided to release control and surrender to the journey, something that's frozen, something that was frozen, something that was cold in some way, is melting. Iciness is melting, contributing to fresh river water. Why is Pinnacle here with release control? Pinnacle with release control. Oh, moon phases. Should I go get that? It really flew. Moon phases. So this phase is coming to an end. this phase of either releasing control, surrendering to the journey. I think surrendering to the journey is a constant. I think there's something here about, I don't know. Moon phases, it's a phase, change, there's change. Releasing control is allowing positive changes for this river water. Mystic healer. Mystic healer for what both the divine feminine and divine masculine are doing. How is what they're doing affecting the river? Mystic healer. Healing energy flows through you. Healing energy. Summit. You are reaching the top and success is on the way. Victory, fortune, gains. The eagle. Oh. Pinnacle. Summit. You are reaching the top and success is on the way. Healing energy flows through you. So there's some kind of success on the way. The river is being healed. Victory, fortune, gains. You're reaching the top. You're approaching your limit. Close to the end. Reaching the top. It's like whatever, I'm kind of getting whatever struggles, whatever complications, whatever, oh man, all the hard stuff. Let's just keep it simple. All the hard stuff that's happened in this connection. I feel like, okay, there's always going to be obstacles and challenges to face, right? But there's something specific here about all of the struggles that have been experienced in the present and the past. I think that's all coming to a close. That's the end of that cycle. By tending to this river together, that's helping end this cycle. And it's important that the divine feminine finds joy and delight. They allow joy. They open their heart to joy. They stand for what they want and accept what they have. The divine masculine is being encouraged to share their gifts, communicate, be their authentic self, and stand up for what they believe in. All of that ultimately will lead to the healing of this river and the closing out of old cycles. Reaching the top, success is on the way. More like starting, like if there's been feelings of lack, or if there's been feelings of discontent, if there's been feelings of, like something missing, I feel like that's what's coming to an end through all efforts here. The divine feminine's efforts, the divine masculine's efforts. Grace and gratitude for how this will help the river. Shaman, you commune with spirit for healing and guidance. So by continuing to commune with spirit for healing and guidance, look at that, River of Sky. This one came out for divine masculine, I believe. And I wasn't sure what to do with it. Go with the flow and trust your dreams. And now we've got the river. The river came to me. I found the river. River of Sky, go with the flow and trust your dreams. So for the divine feminine, continuing to communicate with spirit for healing and guidance, right? The divine feminine's in this high priestess energy currently, opening to a profound spiritual experience. There's something about this river that's very important. It's important to look at things in such a abstract, metaphorical way. By the divine feminine opening their heart to joy, by experiencing joy and delight, by standing up for what they want, accepting what they have, communicating with spirit for healing and guidance, and by going with the flow and trusting their dreams to allow, relax, drift, allow. This contributes to feelings of gratitude. Through gratitude, joy expands. Feelings of gratitude, and ultimately that will be helping this river. Regarding experiencing grace, sharing your gifts with grace, waves of inspiration and love are coming to you for the divine masculine, what they can do to help this river. Grace and gratitude. Through gratitude, joy expands. For divine masculine, freedom. It's time to release what's holding you back. Brave, let go, move on. Freedom. Yeah, there's something freeing here about authenticity, being authentic, being real, honest, genuine, and communicating something. by standing up for what they believe in, sharing their gifts, allowing waves of inspiration and love to come to them. It's freeing. It's time to release what's holding you back. It's time to be brave, to let go, to move on in some way. And this will lead to feelings of gratitude and joy. So how has this been affecting the Divine Masculine with their river bank, their riverbed? It's time to release what's holding you back. Stand up for what you believe. Maybe as the riverbank, maybe it's been very loose earth. You know what I mean? Like not wasn't secure enough at the time to contain this river, or something about that. The riverbed was not being authentic. They weren't showing up as the riverbank, as the riverbed. They weren't showing up as that. And that contributed to the health of this river. Just as the Divine Feminine energy. Maybe not, maybe allowing the water to be murky, or allowing there to not be water in some way. But all that's changing. All of that's changing, and this river is becoming much more healthy. Okay. What's this? Shelter. You are being kept safe and secure always. Trust, sanctuary, relief. Alright, let's get some of these messages. The High Priestess for the current energy Divine Feminine is in, regarding being river water. High Priestess as Divine Feminine's current river water energy. Ask. Requesting aid takes courage. Verbalize your need for support. Give someone the gift of being an important part of your hero's journey. Delegate it to your guides. So perhaps the Divine Feminine in this High Priestess energy has asked for help, requested aid, verbalize your need for support. Give someone the gift of being an important part of your hero's journey. Delegate it to your guides. Give someone the gift. For some reason that's... Give someone the gift of being an important part of your hero's journey. Is that referring to the Divine Masculine energy? Because I feel that. I feel like with release, control, surrendering to the journey, there might be something about the Divine Feminine maybe not feeling like they need a hero. Or maybe it's something about like not, like feeling like they have to do this alone. They're alone in this in some way. Regardless of what it looks like in the physical realm, right? Regardless of what it looks like or feels like in the physical realm. If you're a part of a divine connection, if you have a divine counterpart, you're never alone. You're never alone regarding them. You're never alone regarding the divine, spirit, source, God, the universe, etc., right? Give someone the gift of being an important part of your hero's journey, opening to a profound spiritual experience, requesting aid. I think this Divine Feminine High Priestess energy asked for something, and now they're receiving it. Maybe they were receiving it as a vision, a dream. Maybe they asked for something regarding this journey. The divine divine counterpart journey. Distant thunder. For what this Divine Feminine is currently doing as the river water. Distant thunder. Clear the air. For what? Ground. Take a breath. Find your center. Act from your inner knowing. Accept Gaia's loving embrace. So we've got like earth energy, the riverbed. I keep saying the riverbed and the riverbank. Take a breath, find your center, act from your inner knowing. I think this Divine Feminine has been acting from their inner knowing, relying more on their own insights, the information they receive from the divine. And I think that's led to some positive changes here. I think that's led to clearing the air. Take a breath, find your center, accept Gaia's loving embrace. That's funny because like with a river, right? If the divine feminine is the water, Gaia's loving embrace, the embrace of the physical world, right? That's the river bank. Is it bank or banks, plural? The river, I'll just say bank. It's like the loving embrace is the river bank. The riverbed underneath, you know what I mean? Take a breath, find your center, act from your inner knowing. Clearing the air. What am I doing? Is it under my cat? Oh no, there it is. Ask. Clear the air. Speak up and share your passion with the world. Take a breath, find your center, act from your inner knowing. Maybe this divine feminine energy had an inner knowing that they should speak up and share something with the world. Maybe it would take a breath, find your center, right? When someone's being encouraged to take a breath, find their center, it means they might not be feeling secure in some way. They might not be feeling centered, calm. Maybe that has to do with speaking up and sharing whatever this is. It might have been something that they weren't necessarily comfortable doing. Expansion. More of your higher self is calling for expression. Your capacity is growing. The horizon beckons. All right, joy and delight. Joy and delight. Open your heart to joy for what divine feminine can do to continue helping this river. Open your heart to joy. What can the river water do? Play. Make it a game. Ask your inner child. Turn things upside down. Get a new perspective. Play. Way of life. Stand for what you want. Accept what you have. Truth, vision, strength. Make it a game. Ask your inner child. Turn things upside. Oh, interesting. So before I was saying with this card, this person, in the High Priestess card, the person's an adult with wings, right? And this card, they're more childlike, more youthful. So there's something about that. Embracing the youthful energy or finding a way to utilize, finding a way to operate in a more youthful, a lighter energy. Make it a game. Turn things upside down. Get a new perspective. Joy and delight. Ask your inner child. Open your heart to joy. I'm wondering, specifically, Divine Feminine Collective that is watching this and resonating with the message, was there something about your childhood that, like, were you, in a way, like you weren't, what am I trying to say? Like you were robbed of your joy in some way? Or like an unhappy childhood? That might mean something. I mean, that might resonate with some. You had to find that joyful, youthful energy as an adult, maybe. You had to experience what, I don't know, I think that when we're children, we're meant to experience that kind of lighthearted joy and delight, but sometimes that's not what's on our path. Sometimes our childhoods aren't joyful or very delightful at all, and that's something we have to find when we're older. Alright, Divine Masculine. Oh, shadows down here. False projections rule the day. Be lovingly inquisitive. Allow the hidden to be revealed and healed. Let the darkness serve to give definition to the light. Unknown territory for the energy Divine Masculine is currently in as this river bank. Unknown territory for Divine Masculine as the river bank. You are exactly where you need to be. Offer. Speak up about your offering. Up-level your inner story about the value of your work. Listen for what others are seeking from you. Then deliver from a place of alignment. Interesting. Offer. Speak up about your offering. Authentic. Up-level your inner story about the value of your work. Real, honest, genuine. Maybe something about being in this unknown territory is allowing the Divine Masculine to discover who they authentically, genuinely are. Maybe they've been trying to figure it out. Maybe they never got the chance to just be themselves, you know? I mean, aside from before when we're talking about right out the gate. Speak up about your offering. Speak up. Communicate. Speak your truth clearly and stay in touch. Message, contact, news. Speak up about your offering. Speak up about what you have to offer. Unknown territory. Maybe someone doesn't, maybe the divine masculine is in a position where they're being called to speak up about what they have to offer or what they're offering in an authentic, genuine way, in an honest way. And maybe it's something that they're having to learn within about what they authentically, genuinely have to offer, you know? Up-level your inner story about the value of your work. Understanding how valuable what you create is, divine masculine. What you're able to create, what you can create. Listen for what others are seeking from you. Then deliver from a place of alignment. If someone is seeking something from the divine masculine, it's about delivering it from a place of alignment, from a place of authenticity. Wandering path, enjoy the journey. It's like I'm kind of getting like, oh man, I don't know what I'm getting actually. I'll think on it. I'll let it sit. Wandering path for what the divine masculine is currently doing in this riverbank energy. Wandering path, enjoy the journey for what the divine masculine. Focus. Make a choice and take the appropriate next action. What you desire is worth your attention. Remove distraction. Put your intention into motion with thought and aligned effort. Enjoy the journey. Focus. Make a choice and take the appropriate next action. What you desire is worth your attention. Yeah, because wandering path, enjoy the journey. I was saying before, it's like this fox has, with this map and compass, it's kind of like, what did I say, like architectural plans or like blueprints? Blueprints, that's what I was looking for. Make a choice. So maybe this communication, speaking your truth clearly and staying in touch, message, contact, news. Maybe that's part of the plan, or someone's planning on how to do that. Put your intention in motion. Put your intention into motion with thought and aligned effort. Deliver from a place of alignment. Put your intention into motion with thought and aligned effort. As long as something's in alignment with who you are, divine masculine. As long as they I get confused about who I'm talking to sometimes. I understand I'm talking to all types. People who will resonate with all types of the energy, and I get confused. Catharsis. Feel your feelings before you try to move forward. The solution may be emotional rather than logical. A messy situation may be an important healing in disguise. Focus. Enjoy. So they're focused on enjoying the journey. We're focused on this path, and that's helping the river. It's helping heal the river. If they've been speaking their truth, they're focusing on what they desire. They know it's worth their attention, and they're removing distraction. Maybe they're having to communicate to remove distraction. And because they're having to communicate to remove distraction, they're having to be honest and authentic. Interesting. Paul, experiencing grace for what the divine masculine can do to help continue. What the divine masculine can do to continue to help this river. Experiencing grace. What can the divine masculine can do? Communicate. Wow, that's wild. Communicate. Clarify others' intentions. Demonstrate your values. Remember that your words create your reality. Communicate. That's wild it came out. There's so much about speaking up, about communication. Clarify others' intentions. Demonstrate your values. You must stand up for what you believe. Demonstrate your values. Remember that your words create your reality. Yeah, it's very important to be thoughtful and mindful about what we say to ourselves, what we say to others, of course. Decoy. Look for the true culprit. Self-sabotage may be at work. Evaluate if it's something you really need to do or if it's a tempting distraction. So let's go down up here. Surrendering to the journey, release control for how the divine feminine and divine masculine, how their energy is affecting the river. Release control. Authenticity. Who you are now in your entirety is worthy and enough. Resist the urge to pretend. Life is asking for more of your truth. Do it your way. Surrendering to the journey. Authenticity. Interesting. I wonder if there's been... So I was like, okay, we've definitely been talking about authenticity when it comes to the divine masculine side, both in this reading and the divine masculine reading that was just done. But there's also something here about authenticity within the divine feminine collective. I think it has to do with being authentic, being, what am I getting? Reflection and meditation that provides valuable information. Be at peace. I think it has to do with what this divine feminine feels within versus perhaps what they... I keep wanting to say like what others say, or like relying solely on their own intuition, their own inner knowing, solely, like not letting anyone else have a say in how they feel. For some reason, it's, oh man, there's a lot to that. High Priestess. Authenticity. Or maybe it's the High Priestess, what were we saying before? Speaking up and sharing their passion with the world. Maybe that's part of authenticity as well. Authentically speaking up and sharing their passion with the world. Who you are now in your entirety is worthy and enough. Resist the urge to pretend. Life is asking for more of your truth. Do it your way. You are approaching your limit and close to the end. Yeah, there's a major benefit to both the divine feminine and divine masculine being true to themselves, standing up for what they want and who they are authentically and genuinely. What they believe. Demonstrate your values. It's important to stand up for what they believe in, who they are, what they want. Mystic healer, and this is how what both the divine feminine and divine masculine are doing, how that's affecting the river. Mystic healer, healing energy flows through you for how what they're doing is affecting the river. Healing energy. Experience. Acknowledge what it took. Be patient with new endeavors. Some paths need time to unfold. It doesn't matter what time you arrive to the party. The future is waiting, and you're ready now. Be patient. It doesn't matter what time you arrive to the party. The future is waiting. So it's something here about time. About time. Be patient with new endeavors. It's about patience. It's allowing. And that's how this river is being helped by what the divine feminine and divine masculine are currently doing. Acknowledge what it took. Be patient with new endeavors. Some paths need time. Yeah, because it's like, oh man. With time comes experiences, right? Wisdom, learning, growth, development. Time is necessary. It's important to take time sometimes. I'm not sure what that could mean in this situation. Be patient with new endeavors. Some paths need time to unfold. Healing energy flows through you. So the river's currently being healed because of what the divine feminine and masculine are currently doing. Summit. You are reaching the top and success is on the way. Like there's this ending of an old cycle. Ending of old cycles closing up because of the work that's being done here on both sides. Experience. Mystic. Using experience to heal or focusing on experience gained, acknowledging what it's taken, that's helping this river. It's helping the divine counterparts to reach the top and find success and victory, fortune gains. Future is waiting and you're ready now. Why is experience here with Mystic Healer? Experience with Mystic Healer for how the counterparts are currently helping the river. Experience with Mystic Healer. Experience. Daydream. Okay, there's a couple. Daydream and connection. Daydream. Cultivate aimlessness. Allow yourself to fantasize about the possibilities, even if they seem unattainable. Find a comfy spot. Let the project breathe itself onto you. Connection. Explore the commonalities. Seek out your perfect fit. Collaborators and instigators. Explore the commonalities. Maybe there's been similar experience on both sides here. Seek out your perfect fit. Collaborators and instigators. Focus less on how it will be done and more on who you would love to do it with. Wonder if this has something to do with like how the divine feminine and or the divine masculine, how they've thought about this connection, how they've perceived this connection since they felt its beginning. You know what I mean? I wonder if there's been a change in perspective or a change in, because with the divine feminine, we have the murky water being purified, right? So I wonder if there's been a change in perspective. And that's leading to healing of this river. That's leading to victory and success. The divine masculine, I wonder. Yeah, it's kind of like what I'm getting is how the counterparts have perceived themselves, the other person, the other energy, the connection as a whole. Like there's something about that. Mobilize. Inspire others to action. Find the will to get it done. Don't wait for your tribe. Create it. Yeah, I wonder if there's something about that has been part of this healing, part of the experience. Maybe it's taken, like, there's something about the time. Be patient with new endeavors. Some paths need time to unfold. Maybe a lot's happened in this connection. A lot's happened along the path of this connection. A lot's happened in this river. This river has experienced a lot within this connection, and it's currently healing. Explore the commonalities. Seek out your perfect fit. Collaborators and instinct. Okay. Moving on. Grace and gratitude. Why is through gratitude joy expands for how the divine counterparts can continue to help the river. Through gratitude joy expands for how the counterparts can continue to help. Sovereignty. Be the ruler of your domain. Wear your crown with pride. You've earned it. Stand in your power and your inherent deservingness. Undergrowth. More has been achieved than is visible to the eye. The real magic is under the surface of your assumptions. The situation is supported by invisible nourishment. Give thanks. Wow. Be the ruler of your domain. Wear your crown with pride. You've earned it. The ruler of your domain. Stand up for what you believe. Stand for what you want. Wear your crown with pride. You've earned it. Through gratitude. Why is through gratitude joy expands here for how the counterparts can continue to help the river? Through gratitude, joy expands. Restriction. Limitations may actually be creative opportunities. Choose helpful constraints to make the big idea real. Don't be fooled by others' limiting beliefs. Limitations. So maybe in this connection, let's say in the past or in past experience of this connection, there's been some kind of limitations. And those, with gratitude, right, that's being grateful for things. Maybe being grateful for the restrictions, how that's led to creative opportunities for growth, learning, etc., right? Choose helpful constraints to make the big idea real. Doing what it takes to create, to make real of an idea, to Help with constraints. So it's like self-discipline, things like that. Self-discipline. Maybe both the divine feminine and masculine. Maybe they've been very disciplined with themselves, learning how to have self-discipline in various ways. Don't be fooled by others' limiting beliefs. I was saying before, there might be something about that. For both divine masculine and feminine, but I said something earlier about the divine feminine, and there's something about relying solely, it's a very firm, like when I say this, I feel it in a very firm manner, like we're not playing around here, solely on the divine feminine's intuition. There's something about that, and about not allowing other voices' opinions to affect what their river looks like. Don't be fooled by others' limiting beliefs. And that might be true for the divine masculine too. We can't allow ourselves to be fooled by our own limiting beliefs and the limiting beliefs of others, right? Why is freedom here for what the divine masculine? Community. Say it aloud to people you trust. Seek out like-minded and like-spirited collaborators. Rally the support of your network. Abandon pride to receive the gift of connection. Say it aloud. There's a lot going on about communication. Say it aloud to people you trust. Seek out like-minded and like-spirited collaborators. Rally the support of your network. Abandon pride to receive the gift of connection. That's with freedom. So maybe it's time to release what's holding you back. Brave, let go, move on. I'm not sure if this divine masculine is having to, or is realizing, or they know they have to free themselves from some kind of community, or use community to help them find freedom in some way, help them release what's holding them back. Interesting. We have two for divine feminine side over here. Shaman, communicating with spirit for healing and guidance, and river of sky, go with the flow and trust your dreams. Well, let's just do both. Why is shaman here for what divine feminine can do in the river water energy to continue helping this river? Why is shaman here? You commune with spirit. Gotcha. Astral vision, use your higher sight, map out what's destined to be. Breathe and take small steps. 3D takes time to manifest. Take a breath, find your center. With clear the air. Breathe and there's something there about like calming, like be at peace. Yeah, there's something here about creating a more peaceful energy, or living in a more peaceful energy in some way. Inner peace. Use your higher sight, map out what's destined to be. Communicating with spirit for healing and guidance. Astral vision. Use your higher sight, looking at things from a higher perspective, from the perspective of someone who is as spiritually, consciously evolved as this divine feminine energy is. River of sky, go with the flow and trust your dreams. Why is river of sky here for how the divine feminine can continue to help this river? River of sky. Consistency. Hold space for a sustainable vision. Find supportive rituals. Attract co-creators through the power and devotion of your enduring action. Persistence is required. Go with the flow and trust your dreams. Hold space. Find supportive rituals. Attract co-creators. Persistence is required. And I think that a sustainable vision, it's like learning how to filter this water, learning how to provide fresh, clean, life-giving water, right? There's something about finding consistency in doing that, or holding the space for this sustainable vision of the river. You know what I mean? Persistence is required. Go with the flow and trust your dreams. Mobilize came out again. Inspire others to action. Find the will to get it done. Don't wait for your tribe. Create it. Interesting. All right. What else should we do? I know I have to talk about the... What am I trying to say? Let me just breathe for a moment. I need to breathe. Okay. Let me read what I've got written down about what I found. Okay, so I was led to look into the song At the River by Groove Armada, right? The music video. Man looking at a picture of a tranquil beach scene. So it started with this guy. He was on a golf cart with other people driving, and he was driven to this facility. He was looking at a larger picture of a tranquil beach scene. And he goes to this building, this place, and he ends up being able to virtually experience it, the beach scene. And I say virtually, he put on like these glasses, goggles of sorts, and he was transported to this beach scene that he had a picture of, right? And once he awakens in this scene, he seems to enjoy being on the sandy land portion. Like he wakes up sitting on a beach chair, and he seems very free and feeling good. And it reminded me of that one card with the sun. I just pulled Radiance. Bask in the sunlight and share your brilliance, right? I immediately thought of that card. And so he gets up and he starts walking along, and he's just having the time of his life. And then he gets to the point, it shows his feet, and he's walking on like pebbles or something, and there's water right next to him. Like he's at the river bend, right? And granted, in the music video, it's more of a beach scene, but on the close-up of his feet, it seems like pebbly, and it seems more of a river, but I know some beaches have rocks and stuff like that. But anyways, as he's walking right next to the water, all of a sudden, he seems to be getting sick or feeling unwell, and then he snaps right back into reality, like in this building that he just showed up to. And once he snaps back to this reality, he ends up rushing out of the facility, and he gets back on the golf cart with the people driving, the other people he's with, and he's like, can we go? Like, he's in a hurry to get out of there and to leave, and that's how it ends. Like, there's something, also the number 42 is there. It just shows a random 42 on the elevator at some point, and that reminded me of, is this the number on, what's that movie? The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? The Meaning of Life, 42, is that right? The title of the song, so the song is called At the River, right? And apparently, legend says the title of the song was inspired by the guy who plays the trombone in the song. He and his father used to play their trombones so he refers to it as a spiritual. I don't know what that means. I've never heard this term used for a hymn. I looked it up. The closest thing I found was a hymn called At the River, but there's other ways I saw it called, there's something else and then At the River, so I think this is the one that he was talking about in the article I read. Anyways, so he and his father used to play this song on their trombones, and that's where the trombone part, he used the song, the hymn, to inspire his trombone part in the song. And that song, that hymn, was called At the River, written by Robert Lowry, Lowry. Robert wrote the hymn after wondering why so many hymn writers have said so much about the river of death and so little about the river of life, which is mentioned in Revelation 22. And trying to remember, I'm going to put this in the, description box, or maybe even in a comment, one of those, both of those. But I want to show you, I want to read the hymn. Oh yeah, it's also called Shall We Gather at the River. So this is the only thing I could find, so I'm assuming this is what the trombonist was talking about. Yeah, this is the whole reason. Essentially, Revelation 22 is the whole reason this song was called At the River. Alright, where's the hymn? It was written by Robert Lowry in 1864. I don't want to view an ad to continue. That's not fair. I guess it is fair. I just don't want to write. I don't want to watch an ad. Boo 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 boo. Boo boo boo. Where's the actual... Oh, here we go. Okay. Fine, I'll view the ad. It's the only place I can find it. Can I close it? Okay. Okay, it says representative text. I don't know what that means. I am in no way schooled on hymns, anything like that. So I'm just going to go for it. Shall we gather at the river where bright angel feet have trod, with its crystal tide forever flowing by the throne of God? Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful, beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. On the margin of the river, washing up its silver spray, we will walk and worship ever, all the happy golden day. And then there's this word, E-R-E. Apparently it means before. I don't know how to pronounce it. Ear? Ere we reach the shining river, lay we every burden down. Grace our spirits will deliver, and provide a robe and crown. That's interesting. That's reminding me of the grace, and then the crown being provided with the other small card. Let me read that one again. Ere we reach the shining river, lay we every burden down. Grace our spirits will deliver, and provide a robe and crown. Soon we'll reach the shining river, soon our pilgrimage will cease. Soon our happy hearts will quiver with the melody of peace. Yeah, that's it. And then apparently, that's all inspired by Revelation 22, which I don't know anything about, but there was talk about the river of life in that. Revelation 20, and also 22, so it's funny because it's like, where's my pen? Where's my pen? Revelation 22, right? Like if you look at 2 in Roman, and what Roman numerals would it be? Hold on. It looks like 1111, which oftentimes is linked to divine counterparts. 2 and 2, Revelation 22. I'm just going to read, okay, and I know, I don't want to hear about it. This is the AI summary. I'm only doing that because I'm hungry and I have things to do. I do want to read this, it's a lot, but this is the summary, the AI, Google AI provided summary. In Revelation 22, the river of life is a powerful, crystal clear stream symbolizing eternal life, the Holy Spirit and God's abundant blessings. It flows directly from the throne of God and the Lamb through the middle of the New Jerusalem's main street, nourishing the tree of life on its banks. The crystal clear water represents the pure, uncorrupted, and holy nature of God's eternal kingdom. The tree of life, planted on either side of the river, it bears 12 kinds of fruits, yielding a fresh crop every month, and its leaves serve to bring healing to the nations. Restoration, this is spiritual meaning and significance. Restoration of paradise. The river directly parallels the Garden of Eden, completing the biblical narrative by showing that God's original design for perfect fellowship with humanity has been fully restored. No more curse. The presence of this life-giving river signifies that the curse of sin is permanently removed. Abundant sustenance. The water and fruit provide continuous eternal nourishment for God's servants, fulfilling the promise that those who drink of his living water will never thirst again. The Holy Spirit. The river is also widely recognized as representing the life-giving work and created energies of the Holy Spirit pouring out upon believers. River, the river of life. Revelation 22. Then the angel showed me the river of the water of life, bright as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb, through the middle of the street of the city. Also, on either side of the river, the tree of life, with its 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit each month. The leaves of the tree were for healing of the nations. No longer will there be anything accursed, but the throne of God and of the Lamb will be in it, and his servants will worship him. They will see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads. And night will be no more. They will need no light of lamp or sun, for the Lord God will be their light, and they will reign forever and ever. Yeah. That's it. That's the rabbit hole I went through. If you stayed around for all that, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate that you're here, and I hope you've gotten something out of this message. And yeah, until next time, bye.